Hey guys, Marsinkin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today we are going to be looking at a unit that I have been very excited for, and that is this new TEQ Vegeta with the voiced "That's My Bulma" active skill. I'm going to keep calling that, even though technically doesn't say that. He says, "How dare you hit my Bulma," instead of the line from the movie, which is, "How dare you, that's my Bulma." But it's close enough, right? So this guy is definitely going to be a very interesting unit because he can transform into Super Saiyan 2, and then his role kind of changes a little bit. So he raises attack for 1 turn, does supreme damage on his super attack. He starts off with 3 ki and 200% defense, and he has guard for 5 turns. So then he gets an additional attack and defense 40% with each attack received, up to 200. So fully built up, he's going to have 400% attack and defense. He gives all allies attack and defense 30%, but that doesn't apply to himself. And then all enemies get 20%, minus 20% attack for 2 turns after he receives an attack 3 or more times once only, which honestly seems like a kind of useless addition to his kit, especially in a lot of difficult events where you just can't lower attack anyway, let alone the fact that he has to get hit 3 times for it to activate. Seems kind of dumb. He does have a very solid link set though, obviously freshly pulled here. He's 55% full level 1 links, but pretty good. He's on the new God Goku's 200% leader skill, so that's where we're going to run him. I don't want the Godkus to like steal the show, so we're going to use him as a floating unit. So we've got physical Super Saiyan Bardock here. They share 3 links. Bardock is obviously providing support. So Vegeta's starting off with 162k. So obviously that's not crazy like turn 1 defense. But you know, he's going to build up by getting hit. So we just kind of need to get this train a-rolling. So can I get 6 orbs of Goku if I do this? I think I can, right? Oh no, because then that rainbow orb shifts. Alright, well it doesn't really matter too much because he's in the last slot and he does get to attack first. So let's see what Vegeta's going to do. Ideally we need the first couple of hits to be normal attacks. So there's a buff and there's another buff. So straight away 80% extra attack and defense. And then his first attack stat is 2.7. So obviously that is like pretty low from what we would expect from current modern units. But honestly, in his first transformation, in his first form, I guess if you want to call it that, he is going to mainly be a defensive unit, right? So you want to get that guard. Well, guard's guaranteed. You want to get those hits in while he has his guard, because he has guard for 5 turns. And then obviously those numbers are going to go up. Getting a 40% buff with each hit is pretty significant, and it's up to 200%. So that's what? 5 times he needs to get hit. So he's been hit 3 times already, which is pretty good. I want to get this Carnival Goku floated off the TEQ one to link up with him. So let's put you in slot 1 so you can get some hits in. And then I'm going to end up with a double God Goku rotation on the next turn, which is not really what I want, but I want to get this TEQ Carnival Goku floated off, of course, as soon as possible so we can get them together. So had to be the first attack as well. Couldn't have been the second one, which not only did he dodge anyway, but then the first normal attack, which would have done basically no damage, would have given him a defensive buff. So of course he had to get supered as the first attack in slot 1. After we didn't get supered on the previous turn. I don't know why I'm even surprised at this point. The friend God Goku is 79%. I fed the dupes into mine since the 55% showcase, so mine is at 90%. My summon video should be up by now. I put up the Godku 55% showcase before the summon video, so you guys will see. It took me almost all of my stones just to get 1 copy of Vegeta, and in the meantime managed to pull multiple God Gokus. So alright, we can get our boy finished off here in terms of his build up. So now he's at 356k, which with guard is obviously much better. He's going to have guard even on his next turn as well, so that is pretty good. So I'm going to want to do this, and then let's get these 2 for you so we can drop down these TEQ orbs. There we go. Grab those for you. So let's see. Vegeta's going to be fully maxed out on his passive now when he attacks. So let's see what we are looking at attack stat wise here now. 4.5. I mean, considering he is a support unit with guard, I'm not going to go like too hard on him having lower attack stats, right? Especially, again, 55% level 1 links. We have to temper our expectations a little bit, because even if you only have him at 55%, once you get his links up a little bit, then those numbers are obviously going to go up. You know, he only shares 3 links with Bardock, so it's not like this is his best rotation or anything. Once we finally have the TEQ Carnival Goku floated around, I think they share, is it 4 or 5 links? 5. So then having him linked up with Carnival Goku and then the Bardock in slot 3 for the support, he's definitely going to look much, much better. So I think that's pretty good. He tanked the super for double digits as well, so I'm happy with that. On his next turn, he's actually going to have the guard still, and then, let's see, let's put the guest in slot 1. Well, actually, I need my one to build up, don't I? So let's do this. We'll do this. Unfortunately, this means you're not going to get hit at all, but that's fine. And then there we go. So back to full HP. Get the dodge in slot 1. Let's go. This is my 90% Goku now. So he's at 6.8. I think he's only attacked, what, once at this point? My one, I think. So he is going to finish him off here with the additional, right? 7.1. So for the hidden potential build, I still need to play around with God Goku, but I've given him mostly additional and then the rest dodge. He only has 5 crit, and that's literally just because I had a skill orb that was level 5 crit, level 5 dodge. So, you know, him getting some crits in his God form would be good. Once he transforms, he's going to be guaranteed crits for 3 turns and then effective against all types after that anyway. So I didn't really want to give him too much crit. But then at the same time, after that one usage in the 55% video, I feel like I probably am going to use him quite a bit. Just as like a 2nd or 3rd slot unit once he's transformed. So, right, this is the way we want the rotation. So now we've got our 5 links, and if we transform with Vegeta now, we can obviously use Carnival Goku as our slot 1 unit. So let us go ahead here, make sure the skip is turned on for this. I'll put the volume up here a little bit as well. Let me make sure that I'm looking at the right menu. Yep, there we go. So let's put this up a little bit here and check out the active skill for Vegeta.
How dare you hit my Bulma!
It's so good! Alright. Put the volume back down on this. Hopefully I've put it to the right level. Okay, so now we have transformed into Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. So the super attack is now greatly raised attack for 1 turn, supreme damage and lower attack. And then he gets attack and defense 100%, high chance to crit, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super for 3 turns once you've transformed. Key 3, attack and defense 200%, additional attack and defense 100% when performing a super. He still has guard, and then additional attack and defense 50%, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super when performing a super attack, and chance to perform a critical hit 20% if there is a movie boss's enemy. So I guess maybe I should have done a movie boss's stage for him to be at his full potential, but we're going to do red zone stages and stuff with these units afterwards anyway. So let's see, what is his start of turn defense? Is 211k. So not crazy high. He does have guard still, and then he's getting what, 100% when performing a super. So he does get quite a bit extra. Like, I think once you've transformed him, you don't really want to use him as a slot 1 unit anymore, right? So let's see what he can put out attack wise here. He has a very cool super attack animation once you've transformed. So let's go ahead and see what he is able to put out. It's a shame, I mean, I guess they could have potentially gimped the unit if they did that, but it's kind of a shame that he doesn't have counters, like the STR Rage Vegeta, but they are very different types of units. That Rage Vegeta, if he gets a really good EZA, the rotation of this guy on slot 1 and then the Rage Vegeta in slot 2 would potentially be pretty good. So 4.27, I mean, that's not crazy high. We didn't get the crit, and then the additional didn't become a super. So, honestly, that is like the worst case example of his transformation, right? Because for 3 turns once you've transformed, you get that crit chance and then the chance to do an additional. So, unfortunately, that is him with the worst possible RNG. And I mean, his attack stat wasn't really that much higher than what we saw before we transformed. So, it's an interesting one, because just like the Godku, the temptation is gonna be there to transform straight away, because the active skill looks awesome. You know, I would want to see the active skill every time I use him, but it does seem like he is not quite as good transformed. At least from, literally, that's from seeing him in one turn, right? So we still need to see more. We'll see the next turn. Now, obviously, against a movie boss enemy, once he's transformed, he is going to be significantly better. So when we do... we'll probably do Broly for him, because, you know, him being TEQ as well, and Broly being AGL in the final phase, like, he will absolutely tear Broly a new one in the red zone stage. Now, he probably... will he be able to eat a super? So what was he up to? About 400k post-super on that previous turn with guard, which doesn't make a huge difference against Broly. It does cancel out the extreme versus super modifier, I believe. But I think without a defensive item active, that's not enough defense for him to be able to survive. So let's see how we do here. Obviously, we don't have guard anymore. No, wait, do we have guard? No, wait, he always has guard. Sorry, it's the 3 turns once. So once he transforms, he always has guard. Whereas before you transform, you only have guard for 5 turns. So I guess you kind of are incentivized to transform him as soon as that guard runs out. Hopefully we can actually get the crit and then the additional. Now, once you start getting dupes into this guy, that's when he could go crazy, right? Because if you give him a little bit of extra additional and crit in the hidden potential, then once you've transformed, if you're doing like a triple super, triple crit turn, then obviously he's going to look way better. So, let's see. I don't want those blue orbs in the middle to get cut off, so I can get 6 orbs of God Goku. There we go. Alright, so we'll do this. So let's see what he takes in. Now, because he does still have the guard, I wouldn't expect him to take a huge amount of damage from this in Shadow Dragon, unless he gets hit with a super attack, which would be pretty unfortunate. So let's see what he's able to put. I mean, the guard potentially will save him, but we'll see how much damage he's potentially going to take. As long as he tanks the normals for double digits, that would be pretty good. Again, he is 55% full level 1 Lynx, so necessarily expecting him to be able to tank for double digits in difficult content is probably unrealistic. But the Shadow Dragon stage is not super difficult. And you can see without support, we were just under 4 mil. And yet again, we did not get the additional or the crit. So, really bad luck with him. 85k is actually pretty decent. So, for 55%. I mean, you got to think about, though, how hard this guy hits compared to, like, the Metal Cooler Core. So, if that was Metal Cooler Core super attacking us, even with guard, we would probably be dead right now. But, yeah, Vegeta, I'm torn, because at 55% he seems kind of underwhelming, but I feel like once you get the dupes in there, he's going to look a lot better. And again, we are missing a big part of his passive by not having a movie boss enemy. So let me get that up here again just to double check, since I can't bring up the menu right now. Let me just double check what those buffs actually are. Or actually, we might as well just look here now. So what is his movie boss's enemy buffs? So it's an extra 50% attack and defense, another additional that has a high chance to become a super, and more crit chance. Yeah, see, all of the things that make him good in this first part of his passive, he gets extra of it if you're against a movie boss enemy. So I think maybe he does fall into that category of he's going to be a unit that you probably only use against movie boss enemies. I mean, it's not like he's going to be terrible in a non-movie bosses event, but I feel like if you want to get the most out of him, especially at 55%, you're probably just going to be using him against movie bosses. Now, you know, of the hardest red zone stages, quite a few of them are movie bosses enemies. So, and then of course, you know, we have Cell Max event, we have the Cell Max red zone. So I mean, there's going to be stages where you get that full passive active. But as this preliminary showcase, not seeing him with that extra passive, he's obviously not going absolutely crazy or anything. So, alright, we've got defensive support from Carnival Goku. See, that puts him to 171. Yeah, because he's losing that extra 100% now that we've dropped off of 3 turns. Yeah. So I feel like with this guy, movie boss enemy is going to be where you want to use him the most. Now that we've reached the point where that extra buff has dropped off, I feel like he really is going to show his weakness because he doesn't get any defense on super. So even with guard, like, his defense for this turn is now just not very good. And remember, STR Carnival Goku is giving 50% defensive support. So this Vegeta definitely not the best unit to bring on a non-movie heroes event. Because now, not only have we lost that buff, we've also lost the chance for the additional and the crit. Yeah, he's at a 3 million attack. So I think I'm going to reserve full judgment until we actually use him against the movie boss enemy. We might actually die here, legitimately, even with the guard. Actually, 200k. All right, maybe I underestimated the power of guard a little bit, because his defense is actually quite low. And I've seen Nova one-shot enemies that are, you know, not particularly good defensively. So I will take that, actually. That's a lot less damage than I expected. So overall, like I said, I'll reserve judgment until we see a movie boss enemy performance, but I quite like his first phase as a defensive unit, but because his guard is on a time limit, you kind of have to transform him once it runs out. Otherwise, you have the potential of taking a lot of damage. So I think in events that aren't going to drag on, because also you have to remember this Shadow Dragon event is quite a bit longer than some of the other Red Zone fights. It's actually, I think, even with some of the stronger teams, it is one of the longer events, right? Like Broly, Metal Cooler Core, you can win those fights in like 6 to 7 turns if they go quite quickly, or even less, even 5 potentially. Whereas the Shadow Dragons one, because it's as long as it is, you're not usually going to be doing it in that short of a time. So let me know what you guys think of Vegeta down below. Obviously, the active skill, the super attack animations and everything, he looks super good. I'm very happy that we have that moment represented in Dokkan in a new updated way that looks absolutely fire. But, you know, I would really like to pull dupes for him. I was unfortunate that my luck on the banner was that just like Bardock, I pulled tons of God Gokus and only one Vegeta. So it makes going back into the banner a little bit dangerous for me because I don't need any more copies of any of the units except for Vegeta and one more copy of Goku. So we'll see what happens with the Easy A stones. Maybe I will throw a random multi in there, but this guy definitely feels like he wants dupes in order to be, you know, really impressive. But we'll see how he looks against the movie boss enemy. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.